Thank you. Director Gain is not here this evening, and Director Deborah has proxy. Thank you. All right. Election Committee. Was supposed to be here. Is that you? All right, let's go. Announce the names. Go for it. Jump up to the mic and announce the names, and I guess do the drawing, right? There's Tom. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Margaret Killeen. I'm with the Election Committee. I'm here to pull the names of the 4 candidates for the open positions that are being offered in this election. They have been reviewed and verified per our bylaws. The order in which I pull their names and announce them will be the order they appear on the ballot. Okay? They're in little teeny tiny things, so number 1, Kathleen Coughlin. Number 2, Jason Lloyd. Number 3, Bob Brook. Number 4, Jerry Barron Jr.
Thank you. All right, next item is approval of minutes, January 23rd regular meeting. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Jerry, thanks, Jeff. Any discussion, questions, comments? Nope. All in favor? 9-0. 9-0. Now the work session from February 20th. Need a motion, please. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Jerry. Any comments, questions on those? All right. All in favor? Thank you. 9-0. And Doug, got joint advisory committee reports.
Yeah, just one comment on the board election. There are 4 candidates, but there are 3 positions, and they're each 3-year terms. So a couple of people were serving 1-year terms this time, but there are 3-year terms, 3 open positions. So just a reminder for that. So I have the notes from the February 10th Recreation Joint Advisory Committee meeting. Tom gave an update on the gun range, and that can be found on the website if you'd like to go look at that. It's looking great. They're making a lot of progress. We don't have an official open date yet, but it's making a lot of progress there. The Norwood drawdown continues until March 3rd, and dredging as well as adding to the boat ramp should be finished by then. For Skeet and Trap, usage is up 20% over January of 2024. Good news. The Trailblazer usage statistics from the city were given at the committee meeting, and they're up 26% from January 2024. Great use there. The Huntley Gravity Park is up 850 uses to over 3,000 uses year over year. All amenities were found to be in good condition. There were a couple of comments. Tyree Park and Granton Park, several boats without 2025 stickers. The deadline is March 31st for those stickers to be done, so we'll hope to see those increase. Lake Avalon Park, unfortunately, the heated dock, and there was some damage done there, some vandalism done to the dock. Someone started a fire and damaged the bench in the dock there, so they're working on getting that taken care of. And that's it for the meeting minutes. Golf and golf and lakes both were canceled due to Jim.
Thank you. Yeah, it's too bad we had this last couple stretches of bad weather for the gun range, so I know that pushed it back just a little bit, but they're working their tails off to get it done. Financials, Beth?
Is that on here, Jessica? Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to talk about January, and just a reminder, these are preliminary. We're still working on finalizing 2024, which could impact January for accruals and prepaids. Looking at the consolidated results overall, revenue was below budget, but better than January of last year. You will see a theme later on in the slides where the revenue was definitely impacted by the winter weather in January. EBITDA, the scale of the charts make it look worse than it is. The revenue was below budget by, I think, 111,000, and EBITDA is below budget by 146,000, and below last year. On POA, the revenue, again, the winter weather impacted it. Courses were closed for 18 days, and there were other days of extremely cold conditions. When the courses are closed, the pro shops don't get the traffic, the restaurants don't get the traffic. So you'll see that members' guest greens fees were worse than budget, pro shop sales were worse than budget, F&B was worse than budget, annual green fees was worse than budget. I figure people just aren't wanting to pay their green fees in the cold weather. RV storage income was better than budget. Transfer fees was better than budget, and facility use income was better than budget. But overall in the POA, you'll see that it was below budget and below last year by a little bit. Looking at the expenses for the POA, the expenses were also below budget or better than budget, and but more than last year. Supplies were 54,000 better than budget. Maintenance and repairs 63,000 better than budget. And bad debts was 60,000 worse than budget. These variances are primarily just due to timing with the start of a new budget year, just 1 month, that it's just really hard to predict when some of those expenses are exactly going to hit. Those will smooth out as the year goes along. Looking at water and revenue, total income was 25,000 worse than budget, but was still 96,000 better than last year. And that can all be attributed to the sale of water, which was 29,000 worse than budget. And the expenses, operating expenses were 69,000 worse than budget, 43,000 better than prior year. Meter installation materials was 91,000 worse than budget. And again, that's just due to timing. Charlie tells me it's just hard to predict exactly when those materials are going to get delivered and invoiced. Looking at cash, total cash is 7.42 million. At the POA, the operating cash is 1,671,000. Reserves is 978,000. Water operating cash is 3,213,000, and water reserves is 1,560,000. And looking at the one pager, you can see that the worse than budget, the two departments that were the worst were water and golf ops, and water is the timing and golf ops is the weather. Better than budget is golf maintenance, and that's timing. The POA as a whole was 29,000 worse than budget, and water was 116,000 worse than budget on EBITDA. Looking at the POA, the gross profit was 79,000 worse than budget. Expenses 50,000 better than budget, with the EBITDA 29,000 worse than budget. At the end of the month, we owed 3.1. The POA owed to water, and we owed to the bank 5,879,000, and we already covered the cash. Any questions? All right.
Thank you, Beth. Open forum, no emails, okay? And nobody in the audience wants to speak? No response, so you got out of that one, Doug. On to policy review. Go ahead with 2.07.
Do you want to do the license agreement after that, or do you
Oh,
want?
sorry, skip that. Go ahead and do the license
That's all
agreement,
right.
sorry.
We talked about this in detail at the work session, and Tom presented a slideshow kind of going over the license agreement, so anyone at home that would like to review that, just go back and look at last week's work session video, and they can see all the details there. But this is basically, has to do with the Gravity Park there off of Oldham Drive. There are a couple of small pieces of POA common property that the trail may venture onto, and so we've presented to the board a license agreement that would allow them to utilize that property for some of the trails that may wind through there. So present that to the board this evening for a vote.
Next, Doug.
I move to approve the trail licensing agreement with Blue Crane or related sister company for parcels 16-41082-000 and portions of parcel 16-04084-000.
Thank you, Jeff. Second?
Second.
JB. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor of the licensing agreement? All opposed? All right, thank you. 8-0 with the abstained, sorry. All right, now we can do policy review. 2.0.
Policy 2.07 is regarding Board of Election and political candidates' use of facilities. This is the second of 2 required readings, and again, this has gone through numerous meetings, both the Rules and Regs Committee, last month's board meetings, work session, and regular session. So this is we've seen this a number of times, so any questions regarding that, or are we good to go move forward with a vote? Looks like we're good to move forward.
The motion, please.
I make a motion approving the recommended changes to policy 2.07, board election and political candidates' use of facilities. This is the second reading of 2 required readings.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Second.
JB, second. Any further conversation? All in favor? Thank you. 9-0. Policy 3.08.
Same story there, 3.08, present to the board for a vote.
I make a motion approving the recommended changes to policy 3.08, request for the use of common property. This is the second of 2 required readings.
Thank you, Deborah. Jerry, second. Thank you. Any further discussion on this one? Nope. All in favor of 3.08? 9-0, thank you. On to charitable giving. Committee nomination. April Taylor.
This was a recommendation from the committee that nominated April Taylor. So we presented her name at the work session last week. Any questions about her nomination?
No questions. I know April from the Bella Vista Rotary Club. I think she would be a good addition.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
I move to affirm the nomination of April Taylor to the Charitable Giving Committee.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you, Jerry. Any further conversation? All in favor? Welcome aboard, April. That is the end of the agenda. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to discuss before we go on to announcements? No? You good? New record. Oh, yeah, yeah. Tried. All right. Upcoming meetings. Recreation JAC is March 10th, which is a Monday at 4 p.m. All of these are in the boardroom here or live stream unless otherwise noted. Lakes JAC meeting is Wednesday, March 12th at 2 p.m. Golf's JAC is Wednesday, March 12th at 4 p.m. Rules and Regs meeting is Thursday, March 13th at 1:30. Board of Directors GM meeting, which is a closed meeting, is March 13th at 2:30. Meet the Candidates is Tuesday, March 18th at 6 at the Rec. And live stream. Board of Directors work session is March 20th at 9 a.m. The regular Board of Directors session is Thursday, March 27th at 6. And the Board of Election begins April 14th. The ballots will start arriving via mail and email. Pretty good. All right, if there's nothing else, meeting adjourned.